How's it going today? Today is a wonderful day. Even though it's like a foot of snow out here and it's colder than a witch's hat. Anyways, Mr. D, we'll say Mr. D. Mr. D requested some assistance today. And so I'm going to go help him. I'm going to go out in the field and help him with a commercial job. I haven't been out in the field in a while. You guys have been doing good. We've kind of isolated the manpower a little bit, so we've been doing pretty good. And it's that time of year too where everything kind of stabilizes at least a little bit, but that doesn't mean it's not time to prepare, my soldiers. So I've been preparing like a crazy man. We got trailers coming in, we got scissor lifts being fixed, we got all kinds of stuff getting ready for this upcoming year, because this is the time to do it. When you're slow, it's the time to sharpen the knife for the next battle or war. So anyways, we're gonna get down there. I'll show you a little bit what's going on, and we'll just see you when we get there. Over and out. Well, here we are. I don't know if this is the door at hand today or what. And that one don't have any broken springs, right? Huh. Wonder where the springs are at. Probably broke above that door is my guess. This is one of our main doors here. Alright, let's get to it. Ah, no, I ain't worried about that. So this one's gotten clamped. Over here you had to clamp that one too. So probably a spring already blew one, and then finally the opener was working its hiney off is my guess. They typically don't break at the same time. A little story on that LiftMaster up there. When I got that LiftMaster, the bearing went out within like 3 months because they got brass bearings in them. They don't have roller bearings. So I ended up putting a puck one on there. That was kind of disappointing for the customer. Brand new opener, 3 months later it blew apart. I guess you can get them with bearings in them, but I didn't know that. Alright, I gotta get to work. So, we're good. Opening again.
Yeah, I think we're going to replace my barrels. Yeah. We're good now.
So when you do these kind of springs, I mean, these springs are like 6 feet tall. You know, they're as tall as me. And I always say, you need 2 men and a midget to do these. They are not easy by any means. I was going to let it go down a little easier, but once I finished my finger, when I hit over here, I was like, oh, let it go. That's why I kept looking over here going, yeah, the gate's closed. It ain't going nowhere. Most of the mass is in here.
I was kind of worried about swinging, hitting you, and knocking the hole. It's kind of, I know what it takes when we tip over.
I'm just talking to myself, Dale, just so you know. So we ran into a little problem. The cone on that one's actually cracked. It's like got beat in, somebody drops or something. It's all got a big old cracker on it. So now I got to tear it apart. The joys. So with that spring's probably been there about 2 or 3 years. Those springs they're so high cycle that they actually last for quite a while. And that spring's been moved around in that building quite a bit. They used to be in one location. They ended up moving them, so probably with workers. They stepped them, they set them on their ends. They, with fork truck or something, they smashed into the end of it. It happens. And the cone was compromised. Now, luckily, we didn't catch it at the very end. We caught it before. I think we ended up putting it on the shaft, and we ended up almost going to wind it. And luckily, Mr. D found it, and he recognized it. So it really helped us out. Luckily, it wasn't wound, and it didn't detonate because it was cracked really bad. I didn't have any pictures of it, but it was 3/4 of the way, and it was bad. It would have blew up. So it would have definitely been a problem. Yeah, we destroyed the old one. New one's going to go in. Fun. All right, so I want to step in here for a second, and I want to explain a couple things that I think people really have a problem overlooking. And I used to have a problem with it too, but it's like, it seems like when you become a, and I could be totally wrong with this, but when you become a business owner and you have to deal with the numbers and the profitability and the circumstances, there's a lot of things that go through your brain. So for one, on a good note with this job, we are on the clock, right? And I'm not saying that to like we're trying to screw over the customer. We are just on the clock. That's just the bottom line. So we are being paid to be there. Now, normally what we do is we start with an initial service call. And then what we do is we actually start reducing down on the labor and stuff like that when we're there. Now, you think about it. The reason that I believe you should do that is because when you go there, you have an original service call, right? You have the fuel, the van, the time, everything. So you have this initial burst that it takes to get there, right? But when you're there, you can reduce it down a little bit because you could be out doing other things, but everything else is always liabilities, right? But now you're isolated here and you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know if it's, we don't seem to have in our industry, which is kind of weird to me, that we don't have something in the industry like mechanics. So like, they got all the makes and models and stuff. And if you got to do a water pump's going to take 4.3 hours. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like that works for us. I know we got a chart for doing new installs, but there's nothing out there really to say like that I know of. If you know, comment below that, hey, here's like, if you have a 6-inch spring with if it's a door that's, I don't know, X, Y, Z, it should take this long. But what I'm getting at is that you're there and you're on the clock. And that job, basically, it's an all-day job. I mean, it really probably took 3/4 of the day, but by the time you have cleanup, you get rid of the scrap metal, you clean your vehicle, you clean yourself, you clean your tools, you get everything kind of repositioned and organized, it's an all-day event. And I think a lot of people can overlook that. I see that where they go, it should take 4 to 6 hours. You know what I mean? And it's like, buddy, you better plan on it being all day. You know what I mean? To do a good job. I'm a true believer in that saying, give a man a small job and he does a good job. So, we have this initial burst that we're there. You have to unload the scissor lift. You have to drive there. You have to bring the trailer there. You have the trailer and the tires and the brakes and the lights and just the list goes on and on. You're there. Do a good job. Don't rush it. If it takes you an extra hour to do it right, it takes you an extra hour. You're there because all you're going to do is you're going to make the customer upset when they got to come back and you look like you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to cut corners. So you got to take your time. And I like these kind of jobs because the beautiful part is it's not a bid job. When you bid the job, you're trying to rush, right? You're trying to get it done. You're going, oh my gosh, I didn't account for this, and I'm not doing this because I'm going to cut corners. No, you go, I'm gonna include this part because this is how it would, this was what makes it right. We didn't have to change the shaft, but I wanted to change the shaft, because it had a gnarly spot where the center coupler came, and I just didn't believe it would last as long as it should. So we took the time and provided the materials to get it right. So just something to think about. if you can get into the jobs, that's why I like my commercial, because it's not like a residential. I did a residential the other day, and I don't know what the numbers exactly were, but it took longer than I thought it should, and I still did it right because it was far away and it's the right thing to do. But sometimes you can understand the levels of different industries. So anyways, let's get back to it. All right, guys, it's up and running. A couple new springs, got the white paint on them so they're marked. Shuts like a dream. Couldn't show you as much as I wanted to, just because the camera was mounted back here, and this floor actually has a lean to it. You might not be able to see it, but it actually leans in. So we had to take some of their plow blades and actually put under the wheel to get the lift so it would lift for us. I couldn't move around much. I wasn't very mobile, but it's up and running. I'm gonna put a sticker on it, explain what we did today, so we can look back and know how many years when it comes, because I know that opener is already 10 years old. Hard to believe that opener is 10 years old. I did it 10 years ago. But yeah, I see it doesn't have any other stickers on it, so I'm gonna make sure it's got some so we can tell next time what's done. So this one's a wrap. We're getting out of here. Thanks for watching, and take care.